Hey guys, how's it going? We're taking a look at the new game that came out of Epic Games today. It's called Chess Ultra, which, well, it's just chess. It's basically just chess as a game. There are a few modes. The tutorial mode is very useful, actually, because I just went through the tutorial modes. If you don't know how to play chess, this tells you all the moves that each piece can do. As you can see, I just went through everything. It also shows you how to play on the game. It's mostly just like clicking with the mouse, but like yeah, it shows you how each piece moves. It also shows you how each piece can capture a piece, which is pretty cool. Good for beginners. But it also shows you things like notation, which is if you ever heard people talk about chess, they'll say um, rook moves to a, let's say A6 or A8. That's basically what the notations are. They teach you what like notation is in chess, which is pretty cool. They also teach you about checks and checkmate and a few ways to get out of check. One of the ways is just like simply moving your king out of the way. And the other way is just using another piece to take to block the path of the check. And the third way is just taking the piece that is putting your king in check. And then checkmate is obviously when your king can't move anywhere. Otherwise, it would just be check. So that's a checkmate. They also teach you the values of each piece. I believe it's that knights and bishops. If we just go into here, we can see that in chess, each piece is valued differently than the others based on the pawn. If we go through here, we can see the values are knights are 3 pawns. So let's say pawn is like a point. Then everything else is based on the pawn. So knight would technically be like 3 points or 3 pawns. A bishop would be worth 3 pawns as well. A rook is higher than those two, worth 5 pawns, and queen is the highest, worth 9 pawns. The king does not have a value because if he's captured, then the game's over. Okay, let me just go through here. I forget how to get out. There we go. So it really helps you understand why some chess players would say a move isn't worth it. So let's say it's like a rook versus a knight. Like I have the rook. He has a knight, but he also has like a bishop as well that's in the way to take my rook if I take his knight. So that wouldn't be worth it because the knight is worth less than the rook. So it really makes you think about those types of move. Castling is just allowing your king and your rook to move over. So you would move your king over. If the king and the rook haven't moved since the beginning of the game, you would move the king uh, next to the rook, and then the rook would go over to the other side of the king. Basically, that's what that is. Pawn promotion, you can basically, if the pawn reaches the end of the board, you can promote it to any other piece except for king. So you can be queen, knight, rook, or bishop. And basically, anytime you get to the end, you want to have a queen. You can have this. This is the way you can get like multiple queens because you only ever start with one. En passant, it's a move in chess very rarely ever used, I think, where you're able to move the pawn forward while taking over if they haven't moved from the beginning spot. Let's just take a look at it and I can show you what it looks like. So you can see I have a pawn right here, the center piece. He has a pawn over here at the beginning point. So he's about to move that pawn right there. So that allows me to move, since from the starting point to here, he moved 2 spots up because pawns can do that in the beginning. Since my pawn's here, I can move past him like this and take his pawn. Now that move only ever works if it's the very next move that you do. So if you don't do it the next turn, then it's not going to count at all. So that's a very niche move that I never heard of before. And it's very cool that we get to learn it in this game, in the tutorials at the very least. That's pretty cool. They also teach you tactics and openings. I'm not going to go through these because that's a lot of time. They also teach you about the middle game and the end game. But yeah, other than that, it's basically just a regular chess game. Other than that, let's check out the challenges though. I haven't gone through the challenges, but these look pretty cool. So let's try historic. Anderson versus Kiereski. So called because chess journalist Karl Folker. That seems very much. Let's try these mate and 1 moves because these seem like very basic one. Let's try to solve these checkmates puzzles. So basically the board has already been set up in where you can get checkmate in 1 move. So we're just trying to figure out how this, when you're in this situation, we can get checkmate in 1 move. Is that by taking over a pawn? So you can see right here, it's not going to be this knight, because if I move this here, well, it could be this knight actually. If I move this here, then I can take over that king, but it can just move forward, so that's not checkmate. Even if I move this here, that rook's just going to take it. So you look at this knight here. If I move this knight here, that's just going to take the bishop. That's not going to do anything. Using the queen, I can move right in front of it. The knight will take it. But it can just move to the side. So actually, no, it can't. So yeah. This puzzle is that if the queen moves here, if it attacks, it'll be in check. So it would have to either attack the queen, but then it would be attacked by the knight because the knight can jump over pieces. If it moves to either side, it's not going to work either. So for this puzzle, we go we go queen to F7. Yep, and that's checkmate in 1 move. Alright, here's another check. Let's just go through all the checkmates in 1 move. It doesn't seem like very hard. So let's look at this puzzle. We have a rook here. We have a pawn, 2 pawns, and our king. Can I move this around? Oh, I can. Okay, this is actually a better view. Nice. So you can see he has 3 pawns, a knight, a bishop, and the king. This is a checkmate in 1 move. So what would my move be? Well, I can't move the king forward. That's just dumb. I moved the pawn. If I move the pawn here, it can't move backwards actually. So you can see here with the rook, it covers the entire back area of the knight. If I move the pawn here, he can move it here, but then my king will take that spot. He's been blocked off by 2 pawns and his bishop and his knight. So if I take his knight with this pawn right here, I can mate him in 1, because then if he moves here, the king takes it. If he tries to move back, the rook takes it. Yep, that's mate in 1. Okay, so the challenges are basically pretty cool puzzles that allow you to really think outside the box. No, I guess not outside the box, but like really makes you think about how the pieces move and how you can win in situations. So let's just figure out this one. We're trying to take his king. That's right here. We have a queen. It's pretty good. We can take the rook there. Doesn't matter. It has to be in one move though. Our king's over here, so it's very well protected. I can move the knight here. If I move the knight here, I can attack him. He can't move here because of the queen. He can't move here because of the queen. He cannot move here because of the queen. He cannot move here because of the queen. Remember that the king can only move one space, so there's only so far he can move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can't castle either. That's the thing. If he tries to move here, he has to not be in check for the king to be able to castle, so that's not going to help him out either. So the correct move here would be to move the knight to this area. Really? Oh man, was I wrong? Oh wait, no, because the pawn can grab the... Okay, yeah, no, I see it. I thought it was the right move, but then the pawn could grab that. But if I do that... Oh wait, yeah, no, he'd be attacking to protect his piece. So... if I move up here, he would have to attack me, but that protects him. I got it. I gotta attack that pawn right there. Yes, there we go. Because his bishop couldn't attack my knight, since it can only attack diagonally, and everything else was gonna kill my knight. Alright, let's try this one. Here's his king. Here we have a knight. We have a pawn. We have our queen. I could try moving the queen. That way he would be pressured to move. But if I move the queen here, he's just gonna move to the right. Okay. I can move the queen here. He can try to move forward, but the pawn would capture him. He try to move this way, but the pawn... if he tries to move that way... I can move the pawn forward, but that's not gonna help me. If I move the knight doesn't have any position to attack it. So we need to move it into the way of the knight. Either by these two black spots. Which means I need to use my queen in some way. If I move forward to that white spot, I can attack him from the front. Tries to move that way, I can attack him there. Tries to move that way, I can attack him there. From here, he would only have to, he'd still be able to move to the left. That's not gonna help me. So if I move forward, no, he doesn't even have to move his. See, now this one's more difficult. Move that. No. I would have to move my queen somewhere. I could try moving it back, but that's not gonna help. I need to be able to trap it. I gotta trap that king somehow. What's the correct move here? This is... okay, if I move that there, I can attack him from here. If he moves forward, he moves that way though. No, okay. This is... huh. Should I try this way? Then he can just move to that black spot over there. It's not checkmate. Did I just move here? No, of course not. Oh. Oh. Duh. I forgot that the queen can take the king over there. I overthought it. That sucks. Okay. I have a rook all the way out here. I also have a pawn all the way out here. Huh. I could try taking the... I mean, I only have one move, right? It's only one move, right? And the bishop tries to take that. I need to... Oh, wait. Maybe... Can I move? No. Can I move? No. Can I move that? No. I mean, if I take this... I don't know what else he can move. Because he can't move the bishop, he can't move the rook. He has to move the king. That's the issue. Yeah, so king takes pawn. He has to move the king. Boom! There we go. Solve this checkmate puzzle in one move. Alright, so there's the king. He has two rooks behind him, so that's blocking his path. He has a knight. Yeah, he has a knight in the way and a pawn in that way. Two pawns here. We have a knight. I mean, a queen. Three pawns. A rook. A bishop. So the queen's the one piece that we have to move. Okay. I say we block him here. He can't move up, so that's already blocked. We block him here. And then he can just move down. The pawn blocks him there. Tries to move that way. Queen blocks him there. So what you want to do is move it right here. Checkmate. There we go. Alright. Obviously, the queen's the one that's going to have to move. Or is it? I can only move forward, so I can just move the king here. Checkmate. Oh. Oh no. How did I fail? Oh wait, no, because the king can move back that way. Yeah, you're right. The king can move back to this spot over here, so that's why that move's not checkmate. Gotcha. There we go. Easy. Yes. Solve this checkmate puzzle in one move. Okay, so we have our knight, our rook, two pawns, and our king. And his king is in h6. He's being blocked on h5, g6, and h7, which means he can only move to g7 and g5. If he moves to g5, our king takes it, so we gotta block his g7, which I think is just moving the rook that way. Dang it. Oh, okay, so what if... I need to move my knight somewhere here, right? Wait. Why was knight to f5 the correct move? Is this the same situation? No, this is a different situation. Okay, so we have rook on c6. We have a pawn on a6. We have a knight on d6. We have our king on g3. And we have a pawn on g4. They have a pawn on a7. They have two bishops back to back. One on g6, the other on g7, and a rook on h7. Their king is on h6. In other words, they can only move to the only move that it could possibly make is to g5. G5, because if it goes to h5, our pawn takes. So if we block, we try to kill it, and then okay, so knight from d6 can move to f7, because if it goes to f7, it mates the king that's on h6. It can't move to h5 because then pawn takes, and it can't move to g5 because the knight still takes. Yes. Which is strange that I couldn't use the bishop though. That's weird. Solve this checkmate puzzle in one move. We have a queen on a1. We have a pawn on c6. We have a bishop on d7. And our knight and our king is on h6. They have a queen on f3. They have... Is that a pawn? Yeah, they have a pawn on f4. They have a bishop on d6, and their king is on f7. Okay, so right now the king can move to any of the spaces, but if it moves anywhere to... It cannot move to g7 or g6, otherwise it gets taken by our king. It can't move to what is that, e? It can't move to e8 or e6, otherwise it's taken by our pawn. It can only move back and forth from f6 to f8. So we need to make it not safe for that. And also it can move to, what is that, g8. So we need to make it bad for it. Right now our queen is the only logical move that we can make. You can either go to f6 or f7. If it goes to f6, we block with bishop, and we block with queen, and we block with king, but it can still move backwards, so that's not going to help. If we move to g7, sorry, our queen can move to g7. If we move to g7, we block f7. We block f6. We're protected by the king, because then our king takes if they try to take our queen. So let's try that one. All right. How many? Oh, and that's all the mates in one puzzles. So yeah, some pretty fun things. You can also do a single game, like an entire game versus the computer, where you can decide what level. You can change the location of where it is, what kind of pieces you like to use. I would either go for something that's very recognizable to you. You can change the materials of the chess pieces. Like I said, something recognizable. If you press continue, you can decide what side you're on. Usually random is pretty good. You can decide what kind of game timer you want to use, or if you wanted to try a different opponent. You also, if you choose computer, you can decide what level computer you want. They go up from 200s all the way up to Grandmaster, which is 2600, starting from novice, which is 800. So if you're new to the game, you can start at novice and just start practicing playing. And also, if you want to use your brain while you're... Actually, you're always going to be using your brain, but if you want to take some puzzles to help you recognize situations in chess games, I would recommend taking up these challenges. Main 1 being easy, main 2, 5, 6, 7. These ones are probably like to help you look more forward into the future as you make moves and how they would react to those moves. So, which is a really good way to learn how to read movements in chess games. I would recommend you playing single games on novice if you're a beginner, or on apprentice if you're a beginner, and then just playing through the challenges. That way you get used to how chess pieces move and how to read the board. Yeah, other than that, it's a pretty nice chess game. I really don't know what else to say. It's just chess. So it's pretty cool that they have this out for free. If you're ever interested in learning to play chess, I would recommend getting it now, because I don't know if you want to purchase it, but getting it for free is a very good offer. And yeah, that's about it for me. I'll see you guys next time.